Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how dealerships are actually lowering their prices, but they're not doing it publicly. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And if you want to see more content just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post these videos every single day. Let's get into it. So why would car dealers even consider lowering their prices when car dealers are all about getting the best possible deal for themselves, right? Making the most amount of money. But here's the deal. Wholesale values on used cars have declined by a massive amount, by over 20% on average with most categories. And so this is absolutely killing car dealers. On top of that, interest rates are at an all-time high, and it looks like they're only going to continue to increase as time goes on. And then you have a market that is terrified of buying cars. The average consumer doesn't know what's going to happen with the economy over the next 6 to 12 months. And so they're not really considering purchasing a car. And so you have this demand that used to be there a year ago that is no longer there. And so all of this pressure is starting to push car dealers to actually bring down prices to incentivize people to purchase again. But again, car dealers are all about profitability and getting the best possible deal for themselves. And so they don't want to advertise that they're starting to make deals, because then that would make them appear weak to buyers and it would make the car market look like it's softening. And car dealers don't want you to see that. They'll tell you that it's softening when you go in and they give you an offer for your trade-in, and that offer is way lower than what you received, even 6 months ago. But when they're advertising and telling you to come in and buy a car, they want to tell you that, oh, this is the best time to buy a car, right? That's what car dealers are always doing. It's the best time to buy a car. Yes, you might get a 10% interest rate, and on top of that, your trade-in is going to be worth about half as much as it was last year, but don't worry, best time to buy. And so they always have to kind of play that positive note, and that has to go alongside the advertised prices, because if car dealers continue to advertise these extremely high prices online, then it makes it look like the car market is a lot stronger than it actually is. And so then people go, oh, well, if cars are selling for a lot of money, then that means my car's probably still worth a lot of money. So that means that people are still probably buying cars like crazy. Again, it's all psychological. And when we dive a little bit deeper into the psychology, this all actually makes quite a bit of sense. So again, dealers want us to think that the market's still really hot, and that's why they have these retail prices so high. But on top of that, again, they're trying to protect themselves from losing a ton of money because, well, the wholesale prices are a lot lower. And so they know if they don't retail high out of these vehicles, they're going to lose a lot of money. But then they're also hoping that people are stupid enough to just pay those prices. And spoiler alert, there are enough stupid people on this planet that people are actually paying prices. I just had a dealer tell me that a customer came in a week ago for them, and they had a vehicle in their lot they had priced at $30,000 over MSRP. This particular vehicle can currently be had for $8,000 to $10,000 under MSRP with a lot of dealers because of how much supply there is with that vehicle. But that's not what the dealer told this customer. The dealer said, yep, super rare, super hard to get. It's the only one they had in the lot, so it made it look that way. And the person's like, well, it's really cool, I want it. And they paid that amount of money when they literally could have just driven down the road, maybe 10, 15 miles to another dealership and purchased the same vehicle for like $8,000 to $10,000 under MSRP. Like, that's the stuff that's happening. Like, that's how stupid some people are. And it's like, it always amazes me when I see that. But the other part of it is just the psychology of making you feel like you're getting a good deal. So what they will do is they maybe will have a car posted at MSRP, or maybe it'll be $5,000 to $10,000 over MSRP. And that's what they'll have posted online. But then you go in and they go, oh, wait, where do you live? Oh, you're close to the dealership. Oh, you're going to service your car at the dealership? Okay, since you're local and this and that, we're going to give you a better deal. Instead of $10,000 over MSRP, we'll give you $5,000 over MSRP. But you can't tell anyone about this deal. We'll never post about this deal. Again, this is what's posted online. But you got to remember, you're still paying over MSRP in that car. Or, a lot of cases when it comes to used cars, they're doing the same thing, right? Oh, you're going to service this used car with us, is what a lot of dealers will even say. But look at the wholesale values on those cars. You got to remember, those wholesale values are what that dealer would offer you if you traded in that car to them that day. And so it's like, oh, if let's say that a used car is being retailed for $5,000 over wholesale value, when you go and drive off the lot, you just lost $5,000 on a used car. Like, that's the way that you have to look at it with those wholesale versus those retail values. But again, these dealers are going to have these crazy overinflated retail values and tell you that, oh, they're giving you a special deal. But when you dig into it, right, it's not so special. So how can you use this information to help you out as a buyer? First off, like I've been saying for months at this point, Don't buy into the hype. If you buy into the hype, then you're going to be one of those people that pays $30,000 over MSRP for a vehicle that you could have easily gotten for $10,000 under MSRP. And again, not every single vehicle has that kind of markup, but that specific vehicle happened to have that kind of markup. So if you just are patient and wait, then you're not going to get yourself in that situation. I think the best thing that you can do right now is just to go to a dealer that happens to have the vehicle that you want and tell them the price that you're willing to purchase that vehicle at, and just say, hey, you know what? Here's my contact information. I know the market's crazy and that things are declining at a mass amount and you're struggling to sell cars right now, and they will never admit that, right? You don't have to say all that, but like that's kind of what you're saying when you say, just call me. When you're ready to sell this vehicle and just name your price, right? If it's a specialty vehicle, maybe it's MSRP, maybe it's a little bit off of MSRP, whatever you feel like is the best possible deal in that car, just tell that dealer. And chances are that dealer is probably going to call you in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks when they still haven't sold that car for that overinflated price that they want. I've had several people contact me and tell me that, hey, this dealer had this car posted for $10,000 over sticker, and they just called me 3 weeks later saying that they're willing to sell it to me at MSRP. But then what people will usually tell me is that they happen to already find another car for the price that they wanted. They ended up purchasing it. But the storyline still tracks. If you're patient and if you just give these dealers your contact info and tell them that you're a buyer at a certain price, like just say, you're serious, you're ready to go, then they will be willing to work with you. And that's just what you have to do with this market. You just have to be patient because these dealers are going to start to get freaked out. And again, they already are having that situation because they're sitting on inventory for longer than they want to sit on it for. And so if you make firm offers with dealers right now, it's going to go a long way for you. That's going to sum things up for today's video. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this whole subject of dealers basically posting these overinflated retail prices to make it look like the market's hotter than it is. And then, in secret, basically whispering over to you, hey, by the way, I won't sell it to you for 10 grand over. I'll instead sell it to you for only 5 grand over. Special, local deal, whatever they want to say to kind of like butter you up to convince you that you're getting a better deal than what other people would ultimately get. And I just want to say this again. With this market, you want to be patient. That is the best possible thing that you can do because there's just so much volatility. There's so much happening that if you just jump in too fast, then that's how you get yourself into it. And it doesn't matter what the market's doing. Like, even if the market is in a situation where things are pretty flat or maybe things are going up every single day like what they were doing, a year ago, it's still worth it to just take a step back and to just wait, because usually what you'll find is that first off, you don't need that car as much as you thought you needed it. And then on top of that, you really don't need it for the price that that dealer wants. You'd rather be in a situation where you pay significantly less. I mean, just like imagine yourself behind the driver's seat of that car, but then also imagine whatever the markup is on that vehicle, whether it be $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, just imagine that sitting in the seat next to you and be like, is it really just worth throwing that out the window to have this experience? And 9 times out of 10, you'll probably find out that it's not. I'll see you.